Welcome back. Now, one of the things you want to understand is your customer's experience. So when your customer submits a support ticket, they're going to get an email back in their box stating that their request has been received. And what they can do then is they can reply to your request by clicking on this button if they want to update that request. However, what they should now expect is that your support agent will reply to them. And so what will then happen is either you or your support agent will reply to the original request. So assuming then that this is your reply, you'll then send it out to the customer. Your customer will then get your reply, and you'll see it here in thread form on top of the original request. Now your customer can keep the thread alive by replying to your request. All they'll need to do is to hit the reply button and then send a reply to you. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one thing you're going to want to do is to go through an initial setup for your web address so that you can give it to your customers in case they'd like to access your support desk from their web browser. And to do that, you're going to go to your admin area. Once you get to your admin area, you're going to go to the right side and you're going to click on the products menu. Once you do that, you're then going to click on the guide. That's going to bring you to this page. And what you're going to do then is you're going to click this button that says build your knowledge base. And this is going to help you to activate your help desk. If you were to go to your help desk before you go through this step, you'll find something different. For example, if we were to place our web address, which is our username.zendesk.com, and we would click enter, what you would find is that the web address would not render to a help desk. It's actually going to render to a sign-in page. So what we want to do is we want to set up our help desk. So we're now going to click build your knowledge base. And Zendesk is going to go through a building process. Now after a short period of time, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. You're going to have a message at the top that says the Help Center isn't visible to end users until you activate it. You need to click inside of your general settings. What you'll then need to do is to activate your Help Center. You'll then click you are sure you want to activate your Help Center. You'll then want to go through the agreement and then enable your spam filter. If you want to update any of the other choices, you'll then click update. And then you'll want to determine some of the other settings. For example, with your users' profiles, you can make it so that your users' profiles will be private. You can also make it so that you don't have communities if all you want is your help desk. You can require individuals to sign in order to use your help desk. This will cut down on any spam that you might have. However, if you don't want to require individuals to sign in, you don't have to do that here. Now, if you like for the Powered by Zendesk logo to show, you can do that, or you can untick this in this area. Once you have all your initial guide settings, you can then click Update. And your guide settings will then be updated. What you can then do is put your web address into your web browser. And then what your customer will see is the place where they can submit a ticket and sign in. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can now see what your customers will see when they come to your help desk. And what they'll then need to do is they'll need to find this link that says Submit a Request. This will open up your support form and your support ticket. They'll then need to write in their email address, their subject, and then their description. If they have an attachment, they can attach it here on this form. Now, just so that you'll note, we did not require them to sign in order to submit a request. So they can just go ahead and submit their request. Once they've written in, they'll then click Submit. Now, by default, you have the CAPTCHA enabled. So that customer will then need to enable their CAPTCHA. And once they go through the verification, they'll then click Submit. That customer will then get a receipt stating that their request has been received and will be answered. Now, one thing we can do is to require a sign-in. And what we can do then is we can then update our settings. Now when the customer comes back to our help desk, they're going to have a different experience. What they'll now do when they come to our site, they'll click Submit a Request. They'll then be asked to sign in to the site. If they're new to the site, they'll need to then sign up for a support account. They'll click the sign up. They'll then need to write in a name and email address. They'll then need to verify their email address. They'll then get a link in their email box. They'll then need to click the link in order to verify. They'll then need to enter their password and set it. They'll then be logged in and they can submit their request using this form. And then they'll need to write in their subject and description without having to write in their name and email address. They'll then click Submit. Now the benefits is that they'll get to see any other tickets that they have submitted and have a record of them. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to go over the customer settings. And while we're inside of our admin area, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and we're going to click this link that says Customers. First, you can disable the capacity for anyone that finds the link to submit a ticket. Now, this would mean then that the only people that would be able to submit the ticket would be those that you added to your panel. So you'll typically want to have this enabled. You can also disable the CAPTCHA. You can ask users to register whenever they want to submit a ticket. You can also both whitelist and blacklist individuals. When you whitelist someone, what you're basically doing is you're always accepting someone from a specific domain and or a specific email address. The blacklist is the opposite. Whenever you put someone in the blacklist, you are making sure that they cannot submit a ticket, or you can also limit the individuals from a specific domain. You can also customize the registration message. Now, this is the message that people will see when they come to your desk. If you want to customize this or write something else in, you can do that. Now, if you want to enable the customer email text, you can contact customer service in order to do that. Now, typically, you can leave the default email. It's boilerplate language, and unless you just want something different, you can leave this the way that it is. Now, when you have individuals to register, they're going to have profile data. You can allow individuals to edit that data, to change some aspect of their data inside of the support system. Or you can disable their ability to change their data. The same is going to be true with their password. Now, this is only going to be applicable if you're going to have people register and sign in. Now, your agents will be able to tag individuals and to tag certain requests. And you can do that by leaving this area checked and enabled. If you don't want to have that to be the case, you can disable that function. In the Satisfaction tab, you can allow your customers to rate the ticket and the service they've received as part of your support. By clicking this, you're going to get a new set of configurations. Now, naturally, if you're going to have someone rate your service agents, what you want to do is you can ask a follow-up question after the bad rating, or you can leave this unticked. You can also display your public satisfaction ratings. Again, this is something that you can do voluntarily, but you only do it if you enable your satisfaction ratings. Once you have everything the way you want it, you can click Save Tab. You can also go back to your settings, scroll to the bottom, and save that tab also. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you're starting out, it's assumed that you will be the individual answering tickets. However, you may want to add on an individual to help you to answer those tickets using Zendesk. And to do that, you're going to scroll down to the bottom. You're going to come into your settings area, and you're going to go to your agents. And in order to add on that agent, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your people area. It's going to bring you to this area. What you're going to do is you're going to add in a specific user. What What you're going to do is you're going to go to the Agents tab. And you'll typically see one user in the Agents tab. What you're then going to do is you're going to add a user. You're then going to write in that person's name and email address. You're then going to indicate that person as an agent. You're then going to click Add. That person will then need to verify their account. That person will then get an invitation. They'll then need to click this link in order to verify. That person will then have a ticket agent view of your support desk. Now, at the end of your trial, you need to make sure that you added on a second agent in order to have two people responsible for the support desk. During the trial, you'll be able to have those two people answering tickets even though you technically only have one agent. But you'll see that person reflected as a verified agent inside of your area. You'll then want to go to the agent section of your settings. What you can do is you can customize how your agents interact with individuals. You can make it so that agents can delete tickets. You can give all of your agents a signature that they'll need to designate. You can make it so that if you or one of your agents receives an email to your personal email address, ticking this box will allow them to forward it to Zendesk so that the ticket can then be created on behalf of the agent. And you can make it so that every time that the agent logs in, they'll see the customer context. Once you have these things set, you can then click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. You are now looking at Zendesk.com, and Zendesk is designed to create customer support solutions for small businesses as well as both single-person operations as well as large businesses. It's used by both online and offline businesses in order to communicate support issues with customers as well as keep a record. It also allows a business to track the nature of their customer support system and to rate that customer support system against the best practices in the industry. The company creates embedded support, a help center, as well as in some cases, depending on the level in which you're willing to pay, an answer bot that you can program with your business. It allows for you to designate individuals to handle your support and then to turn over that support to other individuals when the time is warranted. So to get started, you'll want to go to Zendesk.com, and we're going to start the process by looking at the pricing, products, and solutions that may be options for businesses like yours. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to start working with the ticket menu. And inside of our admin area, what we're going to do is we're going to go down on the left side menu. We're going to go to this link that says Tickets. What you're going to notice is that there are two panels, the Settings side and the Ticket Sharing tab. We're going to first work with the Settings tab. And what you're going to notice is that we can move from rich text to a markdown text. The default is going to be rich content, and typically you're going to leave this enabled. Now, if you want to make sure that your agent comments are going to be public by default or by email, you can leave these ticked. Now, all of your comments in the support desk are going to be public. You can leave these ticked to let them remain that way. If you want to allow emojis inside of your support desk, you can do that, and you can leave that enabled. It's quite possible that you may not want customers to attach files. And so if you don't want to have customers to attach files, you can untick this. And the same is going to be true for emails. If you want to allow your customer to send you a support request with an attachment in an email, you can tick this, but you can also leave it unticked. That would be your choice. If you're going to enable tags on tickets, you can do that, or you can disable this function, and you can make it so that only your agents can add carbon copies. You can have it so that certain individuals cannot be carbon copied. You can put this blacklist inside of this area. Now, in this space, what you're doing is you are controlling the message of those who are going to be carbon copied. And again, all of this information is here by default. If If you want to change it, you can, and you can see it inside of here. The default is that when an agent solves an unassigned ticket, they remain the person that's going to be in charge of that ticket. Again, you can leave these ticked unless you see something else that would work better otherwise. And if you want to set the counter for the tickets, you can do that by placing and assigning the number at which the next ticket will go out. Now, ticket sharing is only valid if you have multiple accounts. In most cases, you will not be ticket sharing unless you're doing it between brands or between accounts. Once you've made all of your customizations, you can then click Save tab. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, depending on what level plan you purchase, you can set a customer schedule. Now, this is not available in all levels of all plans, so you're going to want to be aware of which one you're going to be able to do this with. Obviously, if you have the trial, this will be available. We're going to click Schedules. And basically, as you can see with schedules, we're giving our customers a better idea of when to expect support by setting a schedule. What we're going to do now is we're going to click this button. And when we do this, we're going to give our schedule a name. And what we can then do is we can dictate when our calendar will allow us to be available for support. Once we have a time available, we can drag that time as long as we are going to be available. Once we have that schedule, we can then click Save. We can also set a holiday schedule. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to our schedule. We're going to edit the schedule. What we're then going to do is we're going to click on Holidays. We're then going to add a specific holiday. We're then going to add our holiday. And basically what we're doing by adding a holiday is we're stating that our business will be closed on that day and that individuals should not expect support on those days. So while you don't have to technically call this a holiday, what you're basically doing is you're communicating up front when your business will be closed and when support will be limited. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to work with our account settings. To do that, we're going to scroll all the way down to the settings area, and we're going to click on the account button. And you're going to see 4 panels. The first panel is your account panel, and this will allow you to place a header logo. And you're going to have to make sure that your logo is going to be within 254 pixels wide versus 50 pixels tall. Once you do that, then you're going to be directed to place in your website URL so that when individuals click on your logo, they'll be taken to your website. What you can also do is you can change the default colors. And so to do that, you're going to change out the 6-digit code for both the color and page background. By clicking inside, you can either pick your color from inside or you can match your color directly with the hex code. For the sake of this video, we're just going to click on the brand colors, knowing that we could place the exact code to match our colors. What you can do then is you can preview your selected colors, and if you don't like them, you can revert to your default colors. Now your support account name will be as you placed it when you signed up for Zendesk. If you want to change it, you can write in here what you want your Zendesk account name to be. You can also place in a favicon, and that's going to be for your web tabs. If you have a favicon already with your logo or with one of your icons, you can browse for that icon and you can place it here in this file dialog box. So your domain name is going to be based on the one that you had when you signed up. However, if you like to map your domain name, you can do that through this area so that it will say support@yourdomain.com. And when you do that, you're going to have to create CNAME records at your host in order to do that. But for the sake of this video, we are going to forego this process. What we're going to do right now is we're going to click the Save tab button. We're then going to stop the process right now, and we're going to complete the process with the other 3 panels in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in that next video. Welcome back. We are now going to continue working with our account settings. We're going to work with the localization settings. You want to make sure that your time zone reflects when you want to keep time with your customers. For example, the default setting is Eastern Time. However, you can change this to any time that you want this to be. You can also set your time format. You can have the 24-hour clock or the 12-hour clock. And you can also set your default language. Currently, the default language will be English. However, you can set this language to whatever you want it to be. There is also the benchmark tab. And what you're going to do is you're going to get benchmarks. What Zendesk will do is it will show you how well you're performing versus others in your industry, others with the same size company you have, others in your support segment, others with your customer count and your support structure. What you need to do is you need to feed Zendesk some of the information that you want it to measure you by. Once you've done that, you can then click Save Tab. You can also choose the Owner tab. Now, the Owner tab allows you to manage your account as the owner. You'll just see that this will take you to the Admin Center. When you click that link, you'll just be shown the details of your ownership of the. And then when you go to the agent interface, you'll be able to see your customizations, as you can see the colors here. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there is a section in your admin panel for automations. And you can click inside of the business area and click on the link that says automations. Now, automations are set in motion on your group of tickets that don't require any action from you or your agents. And you can see the active automations already in place. If you have inactive automations, you'll see them in place, and you can see these at this time. If you have inactive automations and you want to make them active, all you'll need to do is to go inside of the automation. You'll need to activate it, and then that automation will then be active. And you'll see that one here. If you want to add a new automation, all you need to do is to click this button that says Add Automation. And what you can do is you can give your automation a title, and then you'll want to set the criteria and the conditions. Once you set the criteria and conditions, you'll want to click Preview Match. You'll be able to see how many tickets match the conditions, and you'll want to test to make sure that this is going to be a valid automation. You can then decide on what the action is going to be based on the conditions and the criteria, and you're going to choose a specific action. And once you have the action selected, you can then click Create Automation. Now, one thing you'll note is that if you create an automation and you get this error message, then Zendesk will tell you what you need to do in order to correct the automation so that it can be set as valid. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you can't get your automation to work correctly, one way to solve more simple commands is to use triggers. And what you can do is you can come into your business rules and you're going to click the triggers link. And what you'll notice here is that you can add triggers that will set an action in motion. And a trigger is simpler to set up than an automation. So what you can do here is you can click Add Trigger. You can then give your trigger a name. So basically what you can have here, you can have a trigger based on either all of the conditions or any of the following conditions. So for example, we can say that if a ticket is going to be tagged with a specific tag, we're going to add a specific action. And we have it so that when someone is tagged, we're going to have this individual emailed. We can now do is we can click Add Action. We can now do is click Create. And you'll see now that our action has been set in motion. So now if one of our support agents answers a specific ticket, what they can then do is they can then tag this ticket with the tag that we just specified. They can then submit that ticket, and then that ticket will have been submitted. You'll see then that the individual that we wanted to be notified will then be notified. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can set up a widget for your website for individuals to interact with your support from that website. And to do that, you're going to go inside of your channels area, and you're going to click this link that says widget. What you're then going to do is click Get the Web Widget. You're going to choose your theme color and then write in a widget title. Once you do that, you'll then click Next. You'll then want to enable your Help Center integration and then click Next. What you'll then do is get the code snippet to head over to your website. You're going to click Do It Yourself. You'll then copy the code to your clipboard. Once you're done, you'll then head over to your website. Now, once you've added the code to your page, wherever there's HTML, you're then going to save or publish the code. And once you publish the code, you'll see the help bubble all the way down at the right-hand side, where individuals can then click that button in order to get in touch with your support. For example, if they click the help button, you'll see then where they can then start to write in. Now, if you want to have more inside of your help bubble, then you can go back to the configuration screen. And you can customize your help bubble from this area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the main configurations that you'll want to do will be your email channel. If you come down on your left side menu, you'll click Email, and then you'll start to see your customizations. Now, you're going to have certain support addresses. And one thing you can do in order to make this more recognizable is that you can take this support address and you can make it so that you have a certain email address forwarding to that address. What you'll do inside of your cPanel or control panel is you will add a forwarder to an existing email. What you'll do here is you'll click Add Forwarder. You'll write in the address that you want to forward. You'll then paste in the email address that you want to forward to. Once you have it, you'll then click Add Forwarder. Now you'll have an email address that will be recognized by your customers that will forward to your support email address. You'll have two settings enabled by default: sending email through Gmail as well as rich content. And typically you'll want to leave these enabled unless you have a specific reason for not wanting them. Now, if you want to give your customer the ability to guess at your support address and you want to accept wildcard emails where they don't have to have the words before the @ correct, you can do that. However, if you're using a forwarding address, this is something that you typically will not have to do. And when your replies come from your support, they'll typically come with a personalized name. You can disable this so that it will come from your support directed name. You can enable Gmail go-to actions so that individuals will be able to interact with your support desk without having to open their email. Now, with respect to the email template, it's quite possible that you will want to edit your email template. And so one thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to enable this, but you're going to need to contact customer service in order to enable this. And so what you're going to need to do is to contact customer service to enable this feature. So what you'll be able to do is to start a chat with Zendesk, and you can type in to the support agent. Now, you will get some inquiry by the Zendesk people. And so you want to reply to them with the information that they need. And as you can see, that was done here. So what we're going to do now is stop the video while we're waiting for Zendesk to get back to us with the email customization of our template. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Welcome back. Our email template is now enabled. And if you know some HTML, what you can do is you can edit this template so that you can show links that you want to show to your customer when they are submitting a support request. Now, typically in your customization, what you'll want to do is to come into your footer area And you'll want to add in any HTML that you want to be shown in the footer when your customer gets a support ticket. What you'll see here now in the template is that we have sampled by writing in 2 sentences with clickable links. And we want this to appear in our footer. Now what we're going to do in addition to the text template is we're also going to change the HTML template. And we're going to do that by placing this same content inside of the HTML area. So we're going to take this content that we placed here, we're going to copy it all, and we're then going to place it after the footer tag. We're going to insert, and then we're going to place that same content in our HTML area. What we're then going to do is we're then going to click the Save button. What we've done now is we've edited our template. So now what's going to happen is when a customer gets a support ticket, they're going to see a different footer. So what we're now going to do is we're going to submit a request. That request has been submitted. So now that we have this ticket, we're going to reply to the ticket, and we're then going to submit. What we now see in our email box when we get the tickets is we see our clickable links as well as the information that we placed inside of the template. And so placing information inside of the template allows you to promote or advertise links to individuals when they are in your support system. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, as tickets come into your support area, they will typically come in as open items. And what you'll need to do is you'll need to come in and click on the item. And basically, this will be your opportunity to answer the person writing the request. So what you'll do here is you'll write in your answer. Once you've stated your answer, you have some choices. First, you can submit the item as an open item. When you do that, what you're basically saying is that this will require more activity and that you need to come back to it. It will remain part of your unsolved items. You can submit the item as pending. This will take it out of your open view, and what it basically means is that you are waiting for the person that you wrote to answer you with more information before you can move forward. It's a reminder that the item has not been fully solved, but you're waiting on the customer to give you information. You can also submit the item as solved. This means then that it comes out of your active view, that you have solved it, and that no further action needs to be taken. What we're going to do is we're going to click Solved. What that does is that removes the ticket from your unsolved item. It adds the ticket to Recently Updated. It also adds the ticket to your recently solved tickets. What you can also do is you can hover over an item, and you'll see here that this is ticket number 3. You'll also see that there is another ticket number 2. We can then open ticket number 3. And what we can do is we can come to the top right-hand corner. We can then decide then that these 2 tickets need to go together and we don't need to answer both. We only need to answer one. We can click Merge into another ticket. We can then write the number 2 so that we can merge the tickets. We can then click Merge. We can then click Confirm and Merge. Then that ticket will then be part of ticket number 2. You'll see then that you only then have 2 tickets. You can then open your support area. And one of the things you'll notice is that you can assign a ticket to another individual. So for example, this ticket is assigned to you. However, you could have another support individual working with you. And you can assign that ticket to the other individual. That means then that this ticket will now appear in their unsolved items. If you want to take the ticket again, you can click Take It. That will return the ticket to your active view. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you go to Zendesk.com and you go to the pricing area, you're going to see different solutions. And the two default solutions are going to be support solutions and what are called suite solutions. Zendesk support solution is traditional customer support, which allows you to create tickets and track customer issues. The suite side is going to be everything that you get in support, along with adding in live chat messaging, voice and text message, and then the ability for you to create a knowledge base and self-service. Now, to get the suite version, what you're going to notice is that as a recording of this video, the professional level is going to be approximately $90, and then the enterprise version will be approximately $150. And obviously, there are some things on the enterprise side that do not come with the professional side. But the enterprise side assumes more than one customer support agent as well as a larger organization. The support solution is also priced on a per agent basis. And what you'll notice is that the lowest price plan, as of the recording of this video, will provide you with interaction history as well as email and social channels. And this is basically what anyone would need in order to do their own support. If you upgrade to the next level, what you'll notice is that the team version will allow you to access public applications, and this will give you integrations with certain third-party cloud-based systems. And what you'll notice here is that all of the support plans do come with a version of chat, talk, and then the guide version. The one thing you'll want to note is that each and every one of these plans reflects monthly pricing but assumes that you have a yearly plan. If you actually go to the Buy Now link, when you go to compare the actual plans, you'll notice then that if you're not going to pay an annual fee, that the costs are going to be slightly higher than those that you see on the default page. The one other thing that you'll want to note is that the Essential plan does not give you access to email or phone support. The Team version of the plan does give you access to email support. And in order to get access to phone and email support, you'd have to go up in price one more level. The one last thing that isn't obvious from the pricing area, you will have a home page for your support system. And you may want to customize that page with information specifically designed to communicate about your business. The Essential and Team version will not allow you to have access to those customization tools. You will need to have at least the professional level in order to customize your home support page. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, as you are working with customers, one of the things that you'll see in your settings area is that you can use a benchmark survey. And basically, what you're going to do is to benchmark yourself. You're going to choose your industry. You're going to let Zendesk know how many employees you have. You're going to let Zendesk know who your support desk serves. You're going to let Zendesk know how many customers you have. You're going to let Zendesk know who is delivering support. Once you do that, you'll then submit the survey, and then Zendesk will benchmark you against your industry as well as everyone in the universe of Zendesk. So what you're then going to do is click Submit Survey. What Zendesk will then do is measure you by your response time, it'll measure you by your customers, and then it will determine how well you're doing versus all of the other individuals using Zendesk in your category as well as worldwide. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course. Welcome back. So we're going to come back to the pricing page, and we're going to go to Zendesk pricing page, and we're going to take a look at which trial that we want to start. Now, although we can start at any level, we're going to start the trial at this point at the professional level. So you're going to be asked to start with a work email address. Now, typically this means then that you're not going to be able to use a cloud-based email system. However, we're going to go ahead and use an Outlook email address. You're then going to be asked to write in a company name. You'll then need to select the number of employees in your business, and then click Next. Once you do that, you'll then need to write in your name and your phone number. You'll then need to write in your domain or team name. Once you verify that it's available, you'll then click Next. Zendesk will then start the process of setting up your account. You'll then need to check your email. You'll then see the email. You'll then want to click to verify. Once you do that, your account will then be set up and you're ready then to start using Zendesk. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another. Welcome back. Now, you'll typically see a wizard on the left side menu. And so what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to set up your email to be integrated into your support system. So we're going to go ahead and click Set Up Email. And what you'll notice is that your default support email will typically be support@yourusername.zendesk.com. However, you can create another email address. We're going to click on Create New Address. Now, what you want to do is to avoid generic names that will indicate spam. And so if you have a personal name, you can write that name in, or if you're going to have a support person doing it, then you can write in one of the more general names. Once you do that, you'll then click Create Now. You'll then have the email address that you want to give to others to use to reach your support desk. What you can then do is you can send invitations to individuals that you're going to have working with you. Now, just so that you'll note, when you sign up for a plan, you sign up for one individual. If you're going to have other individuals, you're going to need to multiply that expense that you're paying by the number of individuals that you are going to have assigned. So if you're going to invite a team, you can click this button that says Send Invitations. However, if you're not going to have a team, you can skip this step. You can then go to the third step. Now, once you have this, you'll want to test your system to make sure it's working. Now, once you've set up your email, you can go to your admin center. And when you do that, you can go to this link that says Email. You'll then be able to see the emails that individuals can use to reach you. They'll be able to reach you by the email address that you have set up, as well as the default email address. And so what you can do now is you can now test your email to make sure that it's working. So what we're now going to do is we're going to copy this email and we're going to go to an email and then send a support request using our setup email. So once we have our email written in, we're going to write in a subject and we're going to write in a sample request. Once you have your message written, you can then click Send. Once you do that, you can go to your left side panel. You can click on Views. You can dismiss the initial message. You should then see the sample request. If you don't see it, you can click this refresh button, and typically that will show you the request that you sent. You can then click on that request. You'll see the subject, and you'll see the message. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.